Chapter 7. No Grandpa's Here. I sit on my bed, holding my copy of Alice in Wonderland. The shaky writing in the front of the book says, "For Allie, my wondrous girl. Love, Grandpa." The colors of the book are all bright, even though the book is old. Inside, the pages are soft, and the writing is bigger than in books now. But I still can't read it by myself. It's like having a gift that's locked in a glass box. I'm feeling heavy, but I always do on Sunday nights. The thought of another week of school does that. It's like knowing I have to pull a tire through a keyhole the next day. But I'll have a new teacher. A Mr. Daniels sounds like a grandfathery type with pockets full of lollipops, which could be nice. I'm hoping he'll spend a lot of time straightening his bow tie and telling us about the good old days and not giving us much work. But when I show up, I find that Mr. Daniels is no grandfather. He's younger than Mrs. Hall. He wears a dark jacket and a tie with colored circles on it. When I get closer, I realize they're planets. Most of the kids are gathered around him. I throw my stuff in the closet and walk over. He says, "My very excellent mother just served us nachos," and claims it's an easy way to memorize the planets in order from the sun. Albert, whose hair reminds me of a bird's nest, stands nearby. I feel bad for Pluto. I look over, and my eyes are pulled to the bruises on his arms. Pluto was a planet all those years, and then someone just decided it wasn't anymore. Too small, too far away, orbit not just right. "I don't really think Pluto cares, Albert," I mumble. He sits in his chair and says, "Well, I do. I feel bad for him and want to ask about the marks. He is big and clunky, but not fat, the kind of size where others would usually leave him alone." I pull out my chair and sit down. "Okay," I tell myself. "I'm going to do better. I'm going to work harder. That's all I need to do. I'm going to really concentrate this time, even though I know I've tried that and it doesn't work." Reading, for me, is like when I drop something and my fingers scramble to catch it, and just when I think I've got it, I don't. If trying to read helped, I'd be a genius. Mr. Daniels is in front of me. I hold my breath and lean back. He holds out his hand. "I'm Mr. Daniels. Nice to meet you," he says. Shay leans towards Jessica. I guess he doesn't know who he's talking to. As usual, most of her friends laugh. "Hey," Mr. Daniels says, turning to her. "That isn't cool. We don't do that in here," which wipes the smile off Shay's face. Then he turns back to me. "What's your name?" "Allie Nickerson," I answered so softly that even I can barely hear myself. "Well, are you going to shake my hand, Allie Nickerson?" he asks. "I don't bite on Mondays." Great, just what I need. A funny guy for a teacher. I take his hand, but only for a second. My mind is already spinning off, wondering what terrible things Mrs. Silver has told him, the plans they've made for me. I see myself wrapped in a rope and lying on the train tracks just like in Grandpa's old black and white silent movies. "Okay, Fantasticos! Take your seats," he calls. "Time to set the world on fire." Everyone scrambles to their seats, but I'm still lying on the imaginary train tracks, all tied up and watching the engine come around the corner. Chapter 8. Real Trouble. The first day with Mr. Daniels starts out okay because we have math in the morning, and Mr. Daniels does this thing he calls the bus driver. He says, "You're the bus driver," and then he tells us how many people get on and off, and we have to add and subtract the numbers in our head. No paper, no pencils, just math. When I was younger, I loved math. Everything about math. But in school, math now has letters. Like, what does X equal? There are also long stories with characters, and although the story is supposed to end with some number, all the words block my path to getting there. But the day turns into a wooden nickel day at snack time, when Mr. Daniels calls me up to his desk. He holds the assignment that I did for Mrs. Hall, where we had to describe ourselves, the one with "why" written all over and over on it. written over and over on it. My stomach flops over. So I'm wondering what this means exactly. Can you tell me? He asks. I shrug. I'm wondering if you can write just one paragraph for me. Something about you. I'd like to learn something about you. I stay quiet. With teachers, if you stay quiet long enough, they start doing the talking for you, filling in the answers, and then you just have to nod. So I wait. But he waits too. Finally, he says, "Come on now. Can you write a paragraph for me?" I feel heavy. "No," I say. He doesn't want to know about the real me. It'll be like people in scary movies who think they want to know what's in the basement, but when they find out, they're always sorry. "Allie, did you say no?" he asks without being mad. I turn myself to stone. He takes a deep breath and leans forward. "So, is it writing you don't like?" I think about saying no, except it could cause me trouble later, like the chess games in Grandpa's Alice in Wonderland books. You have to be super sure before you make a move final. But I figure Mr. Daniels probably already knows this about me, so I nod. "What do you like then?" "Buffalo wings," I say. He laughs a little. "What do you like about school?" "Leaving." He waits for me to say more. "I like math and art too. I like to draw." "Oh, well, that's cool. Do you draw a lot?" "Yeah." "So do you find the writing difficult, or do you just not like it?" "It's easy," I lie. "It's just boring." "Well, maybe we can do some things to make it less boring for you, to excite you about writing. It's a great way to explore, be creative, ask questions." I point at my paper. I asked lots of questions there." "Yes," he laughs. "I guess you did." He takes a deep breath. "Here's the thing, Allie. I'm going to be honest with you. I talked with both Miss Hall and Mrs. Silver. I know it. I know that you have spent a lot of time in the office in the past. You're good at getting sent to the office, but you can be too good at the wrong things." Uh-oh. "I just want you to know that I'm going to try really hard not to send you to the office. If we have something to deal with, you and I will deal with it together." He winks. "What happens in room 206 stays in room 206. "What?" "So we won't involve Mrs. Silver anymore, okay? I think she has enough to do around here." Oh no, did he just take away my get out of jail free card? "Also," he says, moving his head to look me in the eye, "I'm on your side, okay? I want to help you." So he wants to help me, huh? He has no idea what he's in for.